Hello, everyone. My name is Artemis Black, and welcome to the top 5 roster touchdowns. These are the 5 rosters that I personally am interested in playing in the new third season rule set. Maybe I didn't play them before, maybe I did, and they've changed enough to warrant them being a newish version of that team. Um, it is not necessarily the top 5 rosters in the team. I'm telling you in advance, Amazons are not on here, and they will be the top roster in third season still. But they haven't changed much, so there's not really much point in talking about them. If you talked about them in 2020, they're still the same. There are a number of teams that got improvements that are not on this list. Necromantic, Undead, Lizards. But they were all already good picks. They were all already top tier or close to top tier teams. That's not going to change much. So we are going to look at the 5 that I think have improved or changed enough to be newish. And going on with that, the very first one is Dwarfs, Chaos Dwarves. No real changes in the new roster, except for the Hobgoblins. And in fact, they got worse, which is kind of weird, right? It's just they got so nerfed in 2020 when they came out. They were the only real team that came out new in the 2020 rosters after the game came out from the Teams of Legend that got nerfed. And everyone was wondering why. Like every other team was either interesting, new, massively improved, like vampires. And you think, well, Games Workshop are a miniature company. That's what they do, right? Every new team they put out gets improvements. The Dwarfs just got nerfed. They were good before. They're less good in 2020. However, weirdly, they're now better, despite third season not really touching them other than making Hobgoblins worse. Because it just kind of works out that way. I'll be interested in playing them again. I think Chaos Dwarves are the new Dwarves. If you just want to stand there and punch things in the face with your short little hard dudes, this is now your new team, because Dwarves suck. Let's talk about what happened in 2020 first. Flame Breathers lost them 2 block, and Breathe Fire is rubbish. Like, let's not make any bones about that. It's crap. They are movement 5, though, which does make a difference. Sneaky Stabber is totally pointless. Literally garbage. The tackle was taken from the blockers, but Iron Hard Skin was put there, which was kind of a lateral move in ladder and league play, but for NAF style, big nerf. And the rules themselves had already nerfed break tackle, which made the bulls less interesting. Now you just usually give them guard, or in league and ladder, block and guard or whatever. Just, bog standard. So they became far less interesting. No piling on, like in Blood Bowl 2 and the old CRP rules, meant that they weren't particularly good at bashing against the big strength teams. So they didn't have much of a role. Like, they were just kind of middling team. They were okay. You could take them minnow in NAF style maybe and try and hurt something. But now things have changed. So, despite very little difference to the roster, now they're the ones with, as you can see on the screen, 9 strength access. All 4 Dwarfs, both Flame Breathers, both Bulls, and the Minnow all have strength access. They could rock up with 9 guard. Like, that's incredible. Like, they didn't lose it like the Dwarves did. They come with block, so the elite skill, if you want to give them tackle, it's a regular skill. Suddenly, they're the bash team. They're the new Dwarves. Break tackle in the rules was buffed again, so now Bulls can be playmakers. They used to be playmakers in Blood Bowl 2 and CRP, then they weren't after that, and now they can be playmakers again. And by playmakers, I mean they can roam. They can threaten ball sacks because break tackle gives them a 2+ dodge. They are now dangerous players rather than just strength 4, movement 6. They're not movement 9. Movement 6 mobile guards. Like, which is good enough, but kind of boring in the mid-bash. But now they get break tackle back. You can do things with Bulls. You can utilize the fact that they are pseudo movement 9 and the agility 2+ for 1 dodge allows them to roam around the sides, threaten ball sacks. You have to protect the back of the cage from them. Suddenly it's very different. And the Sneaky Stabber was made cheaper and is the only hobgoblin with general access. So he's now your ball carrier, which is a bit odd. Let's be honest. It's a bit odd to have a guy who starts with shadowing and stab as your ball carrier. But like, you don't want to carry on a bull. That's never good. It's never been good. It's kind of like a noob trap carrying on a bull, because it takes one of your best players out of the fight to just carry the ball. The ball carrier really shouldn't get hit. You can still carry on a bull if you want to. Even with unsteady, they can still pick up the ball on a 4+. So if you ever need to, because your opponent has some insane ball hawk war dancer or something, you can still roll the 4+ and try to pick up on the bull. That's not changed ever. But your crappy hobos now don't have general access. But it doesn't really matter, because there usually shouldn't be many of them on the pitch. So all you're going to do with the general devious access, which might as well in this version of the rules be general, primary devious access. It's just primary dirty player access, right? Most of the other devious skills are useless. So they're just DPs. Because of the MVP rules, you won't be leveling hobos very often anyway. So it doesn't even matter that they don't have access to skills. What skills? When are they going to get skills? You're never going to pick them as your MVP, which is how you used to level these like pointless players, accidental MVPs on zombies. None of that's going to happen anymore. We've got new MVP rules. People seem to forget that, like, these crappy players down at the bottom of the roster, they're just not accidental Kaz every now and again, desperation score every now and again. You're not going to level them. Who cares what they've got access to? Never going to give them a skill. So for me, who loved playing Chorfs in Blood Bowl 2, they're back. I am going to be playing Chorfs again. And, well, slight caveat to that, they're not in Blood Bowl 3, and Blood Bowl 4 or Warhammer Blood Bowl is probably not going to have them in. We've got one release that we don't know what it is come in December. If it's Chorfs, great. If it's not, God knows when we'll see Chorfs. But should it ever show up, I will be playing them. On Fumble, I will be playing them. In real life, maybe not. Still not great, NAF style. But at some point when I can, on Fumble, probably in January, I'll be playing Chorfs again. Haven't played them in a long time. Great. Next up, we have Nurgle. Nurgle are one of the teams that had a nerf that everyone can concentrate on, but the buffs they received, to me, outweigh the nerf. The nerf is they lost 2 Pestigors, and they're basically your only people who can carry the ball, right? Rotters can secure the ball. So if you need to, Rotters can pick the ball up. It is a problem having only 2 ball carriers, and you kind of want one of them to be a blitzer. So really you have 1 ball carrier, 1 blitzer, and the rest are just already have their roles set. So it is a problem, but the rest of the rules make them super interesting. Excuse me. I'm still battling lung infection, but, you know, got to make some content. Strength access limited across other teams. These big strength teams like Nurgle and Chaos, not limited. They still have strength access on the core players who need it, so they can go simply block guard on bloaters, etc. And also, because guard is limited on other teams who lost blitzers and things, strength 4 itself is a bonus now, because it's harder to hit them with less guard. Stand firm addition to the bloaters makes them kind of like flesh golems. They're strength 4 stand firm pieces who don't start with block. Kind of annoying. And the thing that people like but don't necessarily recognize immediately that it's an amazing synergy is that they added pick me up to the rot spawn. If you think about how that works in game, you've got big strength 4 players with stand firm. When you hit them, even if you knock them down, firstly you've got to roll foul appearance, so you might not even get to hit them. Then you've got to roll a POW, because otherwise stand firm will keep them standing next to you. And then when you do knock them down, there's a 5+ chance if the rot spawn is around that they stand back up before they activate and can block you back. That is a huge percentage chance that that strength 4 guy gets to punch you in the face next turn. Like, it's huge. I think like someone did the maths. I should have probably done the maths myself before doing this video, but that's way too nerdy. Let's just go with huge percentage chance that that guy that you're about to punch in the face will also punch you in the face back next turn. Rotters have primary dirty player access, so when he knocks you down, they will stamp on you. And then we come to the 2 Pestigores. Thick Skull keeps them on the pitch a lot more, which is kind of handy when you've only got 2 and one of them is your ball carrier. And Steady Footing gives them the ward save. Look, I hate Steady Footing. We'll talk about that in a different video, but it does exist. It's in the game and they've got it. So similarly to Foul Appearance, meaning that essentially it's the same odds, isn't it? They've got to roll a 2+. So if they roll a 1 or you roll a 6, same thing. They can just ignore that you knock them down. Like, hey, look, you've blitzed my ball carrier. 1 in 6 times won't matter. They can just ignore it. The new Nurgle team, to me, interesting. More interesting than they used to be. I think overall, even with the loss of the 2 Pestigores, it's a buff. They move up from the dregs at the bottom, especially when redraft came in. Nurgle operate better at higher TV. That doesn't really exist in a redraft world. They were one of the best high TV teams, but now they're, meh. Now they're interesting again. With the addition of some skills, with the addition of the totally annoying stand firm, absolutely interesting to play, and I will be playing Nurgle in Season 3. Let's move on to number 3, and it is Snotlings. Huge upgrade to Snotlings, in my opinion. I think it's an absolutely crazy one that Games Workshop put them on the stunty tier in the book. Madness, crazy, completely wrong. Snotlings were already good. Already the best stunty team by a mile. Win rates better than a lot of non-stunty teams, and now they've made them even better. No loner on the trolls. I know that's not in order of the screen, sorry about that. Crazy good, right? They've goblins side-eyeing them about the fact that they had to wait forever to get no loner on their trolls, and Snotlings now get it too. No secret weapon on the pump wagons. Oh my god. 4 strength 5 players. Better than renegades. Like, just putting that out there. Better than renegades. You wanted all of those renegades players, which is basically only island, should switch to Snotlings. Why not? You get 4 big guys to just run around and try and hurt things and not bother to play Blood Bowl. Crazy. Like, it's just better renegades. Primary dirty player access on Snotlings. I know you get it on the pump wagons, but you can just also take it on Snotlings now to not risk the pump wagons if you want to. Primary devious access, the only thing in there really is dirty player. And also, especially in like NAF style or something, but you can try it out in anything. I'd be interested to see whether finally we have a use for Pile Driver. You have 3 big guys that can base up and do blocks and whatever, and then you're probably going to blitz with a pump wagon. It has Juggernaut. That's probably going to be the blitz. If he rolls the POW, if Mighty Blow doesn't get you, you also want to foul. It has dirty player. Just Pile Driver. Like, why not? I'm kind of interested to see if that works. And more importantly, I think it's like a Venn diagram of tryhards or us competitive players who are interested in teams that do well and fun havers who just want to laugh. The Venn diagram of those 2 circles has very limited crossover, and Pile Driver on a pump wagon lives in that crossover. Both sections of players can do that. completely fun, mad, blitzing things with a pump wagon and then just piling on. I don't really understand how a pump wagon pile drives, by the way. Look at it. But let's pretend that it does. Maybe it drops that rock on them. And also, for tryhards, it's actually not a bad tactic. It's not top-tier tactic, obviously, but it's not bad. You can have fun while you're doing something that's actually pretty decent. And they're still really cheap. Insignificant is kind of annoying. Let's talk about that, actually. Insignificant is written very annoyingly in the rules. It seems to indicate that it only applies when you make the team. So there is nothing stopping you from having to buy the crappy stilty runners and fungus hoppers or whatever the hell they're called. No, fungus flingers, fun hoppers. When you make the team, but then instantly firing them at the end of game one and replacing them with what you actually want, which is just loads of cheap, low-cost lineman snotlings. And then you have to buy them back again when you redraft. Like, it's a very annoying thing that they've written into the rules, because they couldn't write in that you're not allowed to have more snotlings than those, because obviously if those die, you can't play the team anymore if it says you're just not allowed. So that's the workaround they came with. I think it's stupid, and it's just an annoying extra step that you have to do when making a snotling team. I wouldn't keep the stilty runners and the fun hoppers. They're out the door the minute I've played one game with them. But they're still cheap regardless. So you can even still be a star player vehicle if you want. You can still have star player snotlings because low-cost lineman doesn't work in NAF style. So star player snotlings probably still the way to go. I think snotlings are going to end up being this better than they were before, and they were mid-tier before. They were not a stunty team. Anyone who thinks this team belongs with the stunty teams either can't play Blood Bowl, never played Blood Bowl, or is just looking at the fact that they're stunties. I don't know what Games Workshop are even thinking. This is a real team. It will have a real win rate. And at number 2, we have Orcs. And yes, I know, Orcs, most played team in Blood Bowl. More if you've ever played online, like the amount of people playing Orcs were the most played team in Blood Bowl 2. They're the most played team in Blood Bowl 3. That will probably continue. But their changes are odd. Like, to put them at number 2 when they've lost so much means that what they've gained must be great. And yeah, it kind of is. So let's talk about what they lost. They lost 2 blitzers. They lost 2 big uns. Crippling. Like, but only really crippling long term. Like, as you get more and more games under you at higher TV, the starting skills, the starting stats become more important. So Orcs will lose out there. But in this world of redraft, that's not very often. What they start with and can put on the pitch, pretty sweet. You can start with, let's talk about team captain. Like, humans get it too, but humans were dumped in the bin. Orcs were not. Team captain is incredible. If you have a 3 reroll build, team captain is essentially a free reroll for the game. Team captain works where every time you use a reroll, roll a d6. Your captain argues the reroll somehow, and on a 6, they get to keep it. So if you do that 6 times, on average, you roll a 6 once, you get to keep that reroll. It's an extra reroll. Yeah, obviously, if you go roll above average, you get to keep 2. If you roll below average, you don't get to keep any. But on average, it's a free reroll. I guess I should take a quick aside. Oh my God, can we stop adding rules that just argue that the thing that just happened didn't happen? Argue the call, one of the worst rules in Blood Bowl 2020. Now we've got argue the reroll, steady footing is argue the knockdown, foul appearance is argue the block. Like, it's, oh my God. What are we going to have in like 20, hang on, I guess it'll be 2030 when we have the next edition? Argue the touchdown, argue the win and loss. Just roll some dice. Not even bother playing the game. Argue the game. Just at the start, just roll some d6. And if you roll 3 6s, you just win. You don't have to play. Let's stop with the rules. They're terrible rules. I hate the haha, but I have rolled a 6, and therefore the thing that you just did didn't really happen. What a feel bad mechanic that is in any game. Let's hope they go away in the next version. But until they do, Orcs have got team captain. It also means that they get pro on almost certainly one of their big guns, right? Pro just for free on a player that blocks. Amazing. It's just a kill skill. So they just get it for free. The skill ups on the blitzers and the big guns. The blitzers get break tackle. They're only strength 3. However, stat ups have been changed, right? Now strength is only 50 TV. Now, if you take that strength, because they've already got break tackle, that gives them a better break tackle. They aren't just strength 4 anymore. It synergizes with a skill they come out of the box with. So now they're strength 4 with a 1+ dodge. That's pretty cool. They can cage dive with strength 4 and block. Again, pretty cool that Orcs can come with a cage dive. That we should very much keep an eye on all of the skills and new things that basically make cages worse in 3rd season. Even screens are worse. Like, it's looking like you have to keep the ball out of range of half of these things. Just so you can save up for a stat and try and roll strength on one of the blitzers. I think a 50k bump when he comes with block and he comes with break tackle, because of the synergy between that strength up and break tackle, is a bargain. That's a horrible player. The skill ups on the big uns. Mighty Blow, an elite skill. Pretty great. Taunt, hilarious. If you do block the strength 4 player and you don't roll a POW, he can taunt you into following him and Mighty Blow you back. Great. Nothing wrong. Well, on Thick Skull, nothing wrong with any of these skills. It's made the big uns amazing. It's made the blitzers good. Of course, they will miss the regular 4 of each. Losing 4 strength access is a problem. But their linos were given strength access. If this team is tiered well in NAF style and they have skills left over, they could have naked guards on the linos. Like, I don't hate that. You see it with other teams. You see it with lesser teams. You see naked linos with guard on things like Old World Alliance and human teams. An Orc is better, right? Doesn't get removed as easy. So you will see naked guards. And in regular ladder play, I mean, you could see naked guards. You could see first skill guard going on line Orcs. I don't think it's terrible. They're cheap enough that 80k for a strength 3 guard is not awful. I'm not necessarily thinking we're going to see a lot, because again, with the MVP rule, are you really going to ever level these line Orcs? You're going to pick both blitzers, both big uns, Mr. Throw and the Troll, right? Like, that's going to be your D6 MVP all the time. Like, these little changes, like the MVP change, are really going to play into how we think about linos, because how are they ever going to level? At least Orcs will probably punch things with their linos sometimes. Others are just there to screen, right? They're hardly ever going to get an accidental Kaz, hardly ever going to get an accidental touchdown, and now they don't get accidental MVPs. With this whole age of the lino thing, we were all very, very wrong about. And Mr. Throw, let's talk about Mr. Throw. There he is, gloriously on the screen. The best player in Blood Bowl, the MVP, finally takes his rightful place on the Movement 6 group of players. And honestly, all of that was just in there to annoy Jimmy Fantastic. Mr. Throw now actually completely must take. Comes with the movement up that was one of the problems of not taking him before. There's no animosity anymore across the team, so he can move the ball easier if you want to score, if you want to stick the touchdowns on the right Orc. I mean, you just take him now. He's guaranteed. And you also take the Troll. You almost have to take the Troll. With the loss of strength, the Orcs are going to struggle against Chaos, Nurgle, Lizards, other teams that come with the strength 4 that they lost. You have to take the Troll now. So it does have that little bit of unreliability, but lots of people took the Troll before on the Orcs. It's not like it was an unpopular choice. So I think this team got more interesting. For me, Orcs were the dullest team in Blood Bowl. Like, I don't understand people who thought Dwarves were the dullest team. Everything dull about Dwarves was magnified against with Orcs. They were also armor 9, and they just stood there and blocked you. But they came with strength, and they came with movement. Whereas Dwarves were just stunty little idiots who couldn't move anyway. Like, Orcs were the same level of annoying to play against and good. Like, why people hated Dwarves and not Orcs, I've got no idea. But now Orcs are kind of interesting. They're no longer the most boring team in Blood Bowl. That probably is Dwarves now, to be honest. So who's on top? I think we all know who's on top, don't we? Old World Alliance. Who would have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? That we were coming into third season and everyone was going to be like, oh my God, have you seen Old World Alliance? I don't think anyone had a bet on that. And the main reason for it is they had all the pros from the teams that they inherit stuff from without any cons. They lost nothing. The new darlings of the Blood Bowl world, all the positives from the human team, all the positives from the dwarf team. Okay, a couple of the positives from the dwarf team. And lost nothing. They've got the human catcher, one of the best positionals in the game now. But they didn't lose any catches because they only had one in the first place. And now they've got half as many as the human team, not a quarter of many as the human team. Their blitzer now comes with tackle. So if they're in a rule set in NAF style where they don't have a stack, they get Mighty Blow tackle anyway. And in a progression style, they only need to level once to get Mighty Blow tackle. Like one of the best combos in Blood Bowl. And they didn't lose any blitzers. They only ever had one before. And they've got 50% as the blitzers that the human team have, not one quarter. Like, it's crazy how this has worked out, that the mixed teams of Old World Alliance and Underworld just got all the pros without any of the cons. The dwarves are now not like, fake dwarves. They come with block. They come with defensive, which helps out the team in general because this team can take guards and will be like pseudo bash. So they are, and they don't come with loner. None of the dwarves come with loner anymore because they're literally just copies of the players on the other rosters. So they get the massively upgraded dwarf blitzer. They get the slayer, who now is probably going to have to take guard because the dwarves can't. They do lose a couple of guard, but they make up for it, I think, with everything else. Like, it's crazy how much extra stuff they got without any loss. The humans, we just talked about the catcher and the blitzer, but the thrower didn't take a nerf because he wasn't ever 2+ passing anyway. He's now just the same human thrower. So yeah, the tree is now a fling tree, so it doesn't have loner. I still think the ogre is the correct pick. But if you do like the tree, or if it works out money wise that the tree goes well for NAF style, then now it doesn't have loner. It doesn't lose you the game by rolling 1 on turn 1 or a critical 1 in 27 or something. You can actually use a reroll. You don't want to, which is why the ogre is better. The rerolls are still 70k. You don't want to waste it on take root on a tree. But should you like the tree, then it's now just straight up better. Also, the throw teammate is better because throw teammate in general is better. Theirs isn't better because it now does give you the option to pass with your thrower to the halfling and then throw it anyway, because throw teammate is now a separate action. It's not a pass action. So they get to take advantage of that. And because they have the catcher, your opponent now has to struggle to set up to stop both versions of the one turn. They can do a catcher one turn, or they can do a throw teammate one turn, no matter where the ball lands. And so the opposition are going to be stuck in two minds about which way to defend against that. So I think especially the thing that's going to make this team the new darlings of Blood Bowl, as I said, is simply that whenever anyone asked, hey, what team, I'm new to Blood Bowl, what should I play to learn? It was Orcs if you want to play Bash, Dark Elves if you want to play Adge, and Humans if you want to just test everything out, right? They were the only true hybrid team. I think the first answer out of your mouth should be this now. Old World Alliance. Every single new player, that's the first one out of your mouth. Hey, play Old World Alliance. Because they're good. And they have everything in Blood Bowl. They do have agility access. They do have strength access. They have humans. They have dwarves. They have the throw teammate. You can learn a regular one turn with the catcher. Like, it's crazy. Like that we have a brand new team, and it's Old World Alliance. Couldn't have. You could have won money off me. Like if we'd have talked about this a few months ago, you'd have won money off me that I would ever be saying this about Old World Alliance. And that is this video done. I do have the thing I'm supposed to keep forgetting. I'm trying to be like a YouTuber, but really I'm a streamer, right? We stream live over on Twitch most days of the week, still covering the World Championships for all of my sins, tearing my hair out at some of the play there. You get to come and laugh at how miserable it makes me, or sometimes how happy it makes me. Not always when, good play happens, but sometimes when the bad play is punished. Isn't that glorious? But if you are just following on YouTube, then don't forget to press all the buttons and ring all the bells, and we will see you in the next video.